Hey guys, this is Kamikan, and I just saw the latest Spider-Man, so let's get into it. Yep. I really didn't want to not like this movie, but I ended up feeling the same thing that I feel after basically every Tom Holland Spider-Man movie that I've seen. And that's this nagging feeling of emptiness. Like what I just witnessed was a bag of chips that I just finished eating. And now all I'm left with is empty calories and a gurgling stomach. And I feel like I ate a lot, but I had no nutrients. I didn't have any nutrients. I didn't get anything from the experience. And that's how I felt with the latest Spider-Man Brand New Day. Shout out to my little brother, though, for getting me this shirt. But I'm going to talk about what I thought about the movie, how we can apply it to storytelling and as a whole. And I'm going to spoil basically everything that I'm wanting to talk about in this review. I'm not a reviewer, but I focus on storytelling and what it means to people and how we can basically tell better stories over time. And this was not one that I preferred. So I got a list of points here to run down and talk about, and we'll go through them one by one. First of all, why can't we just have a Spider-Man movie, like a movie about Spider-Man and maybe one or two of his actual villains that he has to fight in his daily life in the comics? It's never just Spider-Man. It's always Spider-Man and the Punisher, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, Spider-Man and the Hulk, Spider-Man and Iron Man. Like the whole thing started off with Spider-Man and Iron Man, and only once Iron Man left the building was he able to become his own thing, and yet we hit the second movie and it still somehow ties back to Iron Man. And then the second movie, I completely shut it out of my mind. I don't even consciously decide to remember that one because it was such a Disney-fied movie, like it was a comedy. Like it was just a sitcom, a Disney sitcom where nobody takes anything seriously, and all the motivations in it are petty, and the big moments don't hit because they're made to feel small, like they're just something that happens. And then even No Way Home was all based on Peter's stupid plan. Like it was all his own fault. He was the cause of everything that happened in the movie. He's the one who got his Aunt May killed. He brought basically the equivalent of S-class criminals, 6 of them, into his house where his family lives and where he lives. And, oh, dang, they ended up killing Aunt May. Oh, man, why did that happen? How could I possibly have avoided this? Doctor Strange was trying to tell him, like, this is a bad idea. And he was just like, no, it'll be good. Trust me, it'll be fine. He's the one who got his aunt killed. And now we get to see him in the Brand New Day, like, you know, bringing flowers to her grave every time, kissing it. And it's just like, it just feels empty because it's his own fault to begin with. And the only thing that I really liked about No Way Home was the fact that we had all the Spider-Man in it. And it was a whole, you know, like we got to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I haven't seen the Andrew Garfield movies, but the Tobey Maguire movies were the ones I grew up on. And the thing is I'm always thinking about the Tobey Maguire movies when I'm watching the Tom Holland movies, or I'm thinking about the comics when I'm watching the Tom Holland movies, because I'm like, okay, the Tobey Maguire movies had the unique challenge of introducing Spider-Man to the world for the first time on the big screen. And so they had to stick to like the primary colors of life. They had to stick to universal themes, things that people would understand and would connect to. And so they had the challenge of not only introducing a new character, but also making him relatable to the average person. And so they did that really well in the first movie, and then they expanded upon it and then did it even better in the second movie. So I was like, with Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, I was super hyped to see him come into the MCU in Civil War. I was just like, oh yeah, finally we got Spider-Man, and that really like rounds out the whole cast. This is so awesome. This is amazing. And I was just hyped to see him there, and he was with Tony Stark, and I was just like, oh, right, cool. He's his own character, but Tony Stark brought him along for this fight because he's just out there in the world or whatever. But then come Homecoming, it's like, oh, he's more like Tony Stark's sidekick and not really his own guy. Like, he didn't build his own tech. He got it all from Tony Stark, and it's just like, yeah, okay, well, that's kind of all right. But then even the moments that they try to make into a big thing, like they basically copied a whole scene from the comics. One of the most pivotal scenes in Spider-Man's history from the comics. They put it in Homecoming the movie, where he has to remove this huge weight off his back and lift it off, and then it becomes this huge triumphant moment. But even in the movie, it just felt small and kind of weak, like compared to what went on in the actual comics. Like, he was thinking about Uncle Ben, he was thinking about Aunt May, he was thinking about Mary Jane, thinking about Gwen Stacy. He was thinking about everybody he had counting on him, and that's what gave him the strength to push that thing off. And Uncle Ben's not even present in these movies. Like, we don't even mention his name, we don't even mention his presence. Like, he's just a non-entity. He's just whatever. You know what I mean? And they give the iconic line to Aunt May in the third movie when Peter is the one who got her killed to begin with. Like, things don't follow a logical sequence of events like they did in the Sam Raimi movies, where where Peter lets the guy go, and then the guy goes off and he's the one who kills Uncle Ben because Peter let him go out of spite. And we see that it was his mistake that caused this issue, and that he was indirectly responsible for Uncle Ben's death. And that's why he feels the guilty conscience of letting Uncle Ben die, or of being responsible for Uncle Ben's death. And that's what gives it emotional weight, because of the dramatic irony of the situation. But then we see in No Way Home, like, Peter is directly responsible for Aunt May's death. And it's in such a stupid way that I can't possibly feel sad for her dying, because Peter is the one who made that. He just handed his family to these supervillains on a silver platter. He's like, oh, here you go. Oh, here's my address. You want my social security number? Here's my wallet. Here's everything. And then they come in, and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna start killing now, so I hope you're okay with that. And he's just like, he just gets the spidey sense tingling, and he's just like looking, who's the one who's trying to, go crazy. And it turns out to be the Green Goblin. And that movie was just built on a faulty premise. And then we have Brand New Day. Brand New Day. Where do I even start? Don't worry, because I listed it out. And this is why I don't even focus on the box office numbers, because I was really, really thinking like, dang, okay, he's doing 100 million, 300 million, 600, 700. Whoa, it's going up. Okay, it must be really good. But even I'll come to the movies for Spider-Man for whatever reason. Like, if I see Spider-Man in it, okay, I guess I'll come see it. Like, am I gonna watch the next Tom Holland movie, or am I gonna watch the next Spider-Man that comes out in theaters? Of course I am, because it's Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, it's a character that I really deeply love from my childhood. So it's like, of course it's doing those numbers, but dang, but it's not an indicator of a solid story, because that's not what we got with this movie. It's not a solid story that has a core focus on Spider-Man and who Spider-Man is as a character. We had so many different characters that we're bouncing off of, that we never really got to the core of who Peter Parker is. And we never get to explore that in any of these movies that we've had. Like, it's always about romance. It's always about getting with Mary Jane. It's never really about who Peter Parker is as a person. And No Way Home had a chance to explore that, and it was the one that got closest to that without necessarily going into it. Because even in this movie, it wasn't really about Peter Parker like finding his identity again after everybody forgets who he actually is. It's just about him trying to get back with Mary Jane and get her to remember him again, and all that. It's like we know he's a good guy. We know he will save lives and stuff like that. But it's not really meant. This movie is not really meant to explore who he is as a person. It's just showing like one event after another, one event after another. Like this thing happens, then this thing happens, then this thing happens. Then Jean Grey shows up, Frank Castle shows up, and it's like, okay, we got to focus on these stories. We got to focus on that story. We got to focus on this character and that character, the Hulk. Like, we don't ever get a chance to really dive deep into who he is because we're too busy focused on all these other extraneous characters and elements and stuff. And that's also why I feel like the movie went on a little bit too long because they had to explore Jean Grey as a character. And it's like we're setting up Doomsday using Jean Grey as one of the X-Men. And that's fine because a lot of the things that occur in these movies are due to the fact that it's part of a larger ecosystem of Marvel movies that have to occur. So it has the unique position to be able to use other characters like the Daredevil characters, like the Hand or Frank Castle, or it has the position to be able to use the Hulk when they want or X-Men characters when they want. So the old Spider-Man movies that weren't able to do that, they can do that here because they're part of a larger MCU. But because there's so many characters, it never feels like anything can truly be Peter Parker's. And everything, nothing really seems to ever be taken seriously about the character. Like, we don't see them taking the situation seriously. He goes to see Black Widow, Yelena, and she's just like, oh, I'm busy doing like bigger Avengers level stuff. And they're in a sauna. And it's just like, okay, we just got to remind people that her character exists and just downplay Peter's whole life or whatever. It's just like, oh, I'm dealing with big Avenger stuff. Your stuff is little and small. So it's like, why are we doing that? What's the point of even saying that? Then the villains, it would have been totally fine if we got a movie with Spider-Man dealing with the Scorpion. But I don't even remember seeing Boomerang. Like, I probably looked down to get some snacks and then missed him. You know what I mean? And who is this? I don't even know who this guy is. I mean, we got to see Tombstone in there, but he was only there for like a minute, and that was it. Like, it would have been cool to get Tombstone because Tombstone is one of those guys that can really beat up Spider-Man if he was really trying. But we only got him for like 2 seconds. So I'm gonna go into one of the things that I actually liked, and then I'll talk about Jean Grey. So the action scenes were actually really nice. I thought they were really fun and used Spider-Man's powers in a really creative way. I like that he was getting his natural webbing from himself. I like that it was like enhancing his powers, but it ultimately didn't feel like it amounted to much in terms of like the meaning of the story, like the fact that his powers are enhancing and he's kind of metamorphosing into, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be meant as a metaphor for him leaving behind his old life and coming into this new life as somebody who his old friends don't remember, and he has to create a new life for himself. And so it was a metaphor in that way, and I guess that is trying to get at the core of Spider-Man, but we got this whole other thing to deal with, and that's like Jean Grey and the main villain behind everything that's going on in the story. And I like the action scene with Spider-Man and the Hulk. I thought it was almost like vertigo inducing the way they went out the window. Like, that was really cool. I thought that was really dope. I love stuff like that when people fight in the air. Like, air battles are like really, really cool, especially when neither of the characters can actually fly. So that was really dope. The final battle between Spider-Man and the Hand, that was pretty cool too. But I really liked the battle between Hulk and Spider-Man. Now we'll get into Jean Grey. And all I want to say about her is lock her up. Officer, she's right there. Get her. Lock her up, dude. Officer, she's right there. Get her. She's right there. Because she did a whole lot of killing, a whole lot of manipulating and body snatching, and faced zero consequences. She left on a bus just smiling, like went home wherever she went to. And yeah, she just had a nice pep talk with Aunt May, and all was forgiven. And the people that she killed, like the old guy she ran in front of a car, he's never gonna see his family again, but it's totally fine because they killed her sister, and she was really sad about it. Who else? The old lady who she manipulated into using the tank. All the people that she almost nearly ran down with the tank. Oh, she ruined the Hulk's life. Just took off his inhibitor, broke it, and made it so that he's a raging monster again. But we don't care. He's just a guy, so it doesn't really matter that we ruined his life. Took over Frank Castle. Somehow she was able to take over Frank Castle and the Hulk, but not able to take over Peter for whatever reason. I guess because of the metamorphosis thing, but I guess it doesn't matter. Like it didn't make sense why she was able to get into everybody else, but she was just able to manipulate MJ, throw her off a building, and there's no consequences faced for that. Just use people's bodies for no reason and freeze them. Make sure, like, just anything to get to damage control. And then she finally gets to damage control, and then the one person who she was actually aiming to kill, Spider-Man talks her down from it. And so that guy doesn't face any consequences. She doesn't face any consequences. And everybody just goes on their merry way. Like we have things backwards in the Marvel movies where people who do things that are wrong don't face consequences. Because if Spider-Man was caught doing those things in the wake of Aunt May dying, he would be 100% in the wrong, and people would be like, yeah, arrest this guy. Like, get him out of here. Put him in the jail. But Jean Grey, yeah, she can just walk free. Like, she's good to go. Don't know why. Just let her go. And she did face wrongs with them taking her sister and killing her. I mean, I don't even know if they did it on purpose. Maybe she just ended up dying in that place. But she had every right to go after damage control. But the way she went about it, putting innocents at risk and all that, that's not the way that Spider-Man would have done it. And she would have faced some type of consequence for doing that. And even Powerpuff Girls in the past would be able to show you, like, hey, if you do wrong, it doesn't matter, man or woman, you are going to face consequences and go to jail for it.
What do you say, Chief? It is her first offense.
It is very sad.
But the law is the law!
So she just gets to walk free and be this hugely powerful mutant that can freeze people within a mile radius of her, of her diameter. And it's just like, maybe Frank Castle had a point. I'm just saying. I mean, he had the shot, dude. But Spider-Man stepped in front of it, took the bullet, and somehow didn't die. Like, Jean Grey saved him, but we don't even know how. Like, Frank Castle said, yeah, she just did some type of magical bullshit, and it saved your life. We don't know what she did or how she did it. They're just, the movie makers are just like, fuck it. Spider-Man has to live, so let's say just Jean Grey did some stuff, and that's what saved his life. But yeah, it's just we got the morals mixed up, and not only that, like, let me put my tinfoil hat on. I felt like there was this subtle coercion or propaganda about AI surveillance, where Spider-Man was using AI facial recognition surveillance to catch Jean Grey and to track criminals and stuff like that. And I felt like it was subtle propaganda for what they're calling, like, these flock cameras. I don't really know much about them. But it felt like they were saying, like, hey, Spider-Man's cool with it. He's using it. So, you should feel pretty good about it, because Spider-Man's using it to catch criminals. So it's a good thing, right? And I felt like that's what they were trying to say in the course of the movie, just like throwing that out there. And people who maybe aren't using their mind 100% would just sort of buy it and take it without really even thinking about it. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing, and it just is what it is. But yeah, but overall, the story was mid. It didn't really make my heart move at all, and I was waiting for my heart to feel something about what was going on the screen. I really wanted to care. I had a few laughs, had a few shocks where the what was going on was interesting, but for the most part, I didn't really feel moved at all. I would have preferred to just watch Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in theaters and felt much more out of the experience than watching Tom Holland's movies. So, and it's not that Tom Holland's a bad actor. He's fantastic. He's fantastic at acting as Spider-Man. I always thought like he was great as Spider-Man because he captured that child side, especially in the Homecoming movie, where they're finally starting him out at 15, and he's like a young kid, not into college yet, and we get this beginning stage of Spider-Man, and he was able to embody that childlike energy of him really well in the first movie. So I thought it was a good choice, but the writers have not done him any favors. They didn't really do him justice. You know what I mean? So maybe one day we'll get a Spider-Man movie that feels real, because the Into the Spider-Verse movies really kill it. They really understand Spider-Man as a character, and they're really able to explore the core of who the characters are and deliver an emotional experience that doesn't have to set up the next product, the next movie, the next video game, the next whatever that they're doing in their universe, because they only have the Into the Spider-Verse movies to rely on. So they knock those out of the park. I wish I could say the same about the MCU, but it is what it is, man. Will I see the next one? Of course I'll see the next one. What are you, crazy? Of course I'm going to watch the next one. Maybe they'll get it right next time. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you want to see the webcomic I'm working on, it's a supernatural horror webcomic called Saintly. It is a demon chase horror action comedy about two best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. And I guarantee you it has a much better understanding of storytelling dynamics than this movie did. So please check it out in the link in the description. I finally updated it so that it looks and has the full correct dialogue. So you'll be able to read it in its full glory. And I hope you enjoy it. That's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.